Today we're going to explain on how to do a one-hose test for an RP. When we walk into the operation, the RP is basically turned on and everything seems to be fine. It's not dripping out of the relief valve. Everything seems normal, but we want to do a one-hose test procedure. The first thing we're going to do in this one-hose test procedure is we want to bleed our test cocks. We start at number 4, we open up number 4, we flush it, and then we let it trickle. We go to number 3, open up number 3, flush it, turn it off. Number 2, flush it, turn it off. Number 1, we're going to flush it, turn it off. Now we go back and turn off test cock number 4. Now we're going to hook the gauge up. We're going to hook the gauge up to test cock number 2. And so I don't slam it. What I'm going to do is going to open up test cock number 2 and let it trickle out of there slowly. I'm going to go ahead and put my high hose from my test gauge on test cock number 2. As I do, the pressure slowly climbs because it's bleeding through there. Once the bleed gets to pegs, I'm going to go ahead and open up my bypass to make sure that I get all the air out of it. And I can open that up. Once the air is out, I'll go ahead and close my bypass, build the pressure. The next step I'm going to do is open up my test cock number 2 fully. Now, I'm ready to about to run the test. Now, I'm going to isolate the valve. I'm going to go down and shut off number 2, shut off to number 1, slowly open test cock number 3. The water's going to come out slowly, and my gauge pressure is going to come down. It's hydraulic, so if it comes down too fast, I can slow it down. As it slows down, I can open it all the way up fully. The reading that I get is my spring tension for my number 1 check valve. So I know my number 1 check valve is good because the spring tension is 9 pounds, much greater than 5 that's required. But now I also need to find out, and it's holding steady, so I know the check valve is good, but now I need to know when the relief valve opens. The way you open a relief valve is do nothing but open up the bypass line, and when I do that, that pressure is going to come down. And while it's slowly but surely coming down, I put my hand under it and I wait for it to start bleeding into my hand. So it's coming down slow. At about 5, the relief valve opens. I open up my bypass all the way to see the relief valve open fully. Okay, so we checked number 1 spring was about 9 pounds. The relief valve opened at 5 pounds. We got a 5-pound differential. Now we're going to go ahead, close off my test cocks. We're going to move from test cock number 2 to test cock number 3. Then we're going to reestablish our pressure. And we're going to be checking check valve number 2. So again, I'm going to close off my gauge. Test cock 2 is turned off. Test cock 3 is turned off. Move from test cock 2 to test cock 3. I need to reestablish my pressure. So what I'm going to do is open up shutoff number 1. Open up test cock 4 to get flow through the whole device to make sure I got good solid water pressure. I do. Shut that off. Now, I'm going to open up test cock number 3 slowly so I don't peg my gauge. I'm going to open my bypass and close it so I bleed all the air out of it. Open up test cock number 3 fully. Shut off the number 1 shutoff valve. Open up test cock number 4. It's going to come down. Hydraulic pressure. What we're looking for is we're looking for a number above 1. And most of them have been running about 3 or 4 pounds. Okay, stops about 3.4. So my spring on the number 2 check valve is about 3.4, holds steady. So I know that I have no leaks in my number 2 check valve. Okay, now I want to go ahead and reestablish all the pressure. I'm going to shut off the number 4 test cock. Okay. I'm going to shut off the number 3 test cock. I'm going to open up the number 1 shutoff valve, which is going to reinsert the relief valve. I'm going to open up the number 2 shutoff valve. Now the pressure's been reestablished through the system. Now I'm going to take off my hose. By taking off my hose last, it assures me that I didn't forget anything and that the service is back in. That's all there is to it.